Oh, that's right.
Tom Law spoke so beautifully of what it meant. We came together really because of an airport, in one sense. And yet 20 years ago, when I first came here, it was a visionary indeed. It was a dream that stopped forth. I couldn't help but think back this year, 1970.
The governor came to the grand ballroom direct from a reception at which he is said to have told his rich and influential friends from North Texas that it would be best not to contribute more than $6,000 to any one campaign funding committee. But I am told he hinted that gifts to 10 committees would be perfectly acceptable. Whatever politics they may have talked in the back room, Connally kept it clean, if not bland, before the General Assembly.
I'm sure that in this gathering here tonight there are many groups represented. I'm sure there are Republicans, Independents, and Democrats. And I know at least one Democrat for a Republican. And there may even be a Republican here that's for a Democrat. I haven't found one yet, but I'm sure there's one. I'm sure there's one somewhere.
The governor strayed from his prepared text. There were 18 pages in the script I was handed. By the middle of page 4, the topic was serious conservative politics. In all 18 pages, the script said McGovern once, in a single paragraph which amounted to a jest. It said Nixon 3 times and dwelled on that subject for 3 pages. But the governor couldn't be faulted for the amount of time he gave to a certain politician who must remain nameless, but for whom he is known to have a noteworthy fondness. Jerry Taff, Channel 8 News, reporting.
Thank you, students. And welcome to a Friday at Morningside's Reading Department. We're delighted to have you. We're especially pleased today to have Mr. Jack Wells as our special guest. And I'd like for Mr. Wells to stand so all of you can see him, because he has shared with Morningside a very special gift. A gift that's been in his family for like 68 years. This is one of the earliest recording machines made, and our class today is going to explain how that is used and how it is a part of our study for today's reading activities. Mr. Shipley, we're ready when you are.
The name comes from two Greek words. Phono means sound and graph means writing. Thomas Edison knew that sound is made by vibrations moving through the earth. Edison used this knowledge while working on improvements for the telephone. Because he was partly deaf, so he attached a needle. He cannot judge the amplitude of the sounds he heard over the telephone because he was partly deaf, so he attached a needle to the telephone receiver.
In those days, the first thing to catch your eye would be the large horn to which the needle was fastening. Sounds was heard through this horn, and this is very much what it sounded like.
Ms. Sanguinet, how do you respond to the quotes attributed to some of your neighbors about the constant coming and going of policemen and firemen at this address?
Well, there's only one explanation for it. For 20 years, my mother and sister have been getting donations, charity, from manufacturing places here in Dallas to be given to a charitable organization, which is John the 23rd Regional School. And we have a letter from the nun asking us, and years and years ago, the priest is the one that really started us getting things and selling them from our home, because he didn't have the time and they couldn't get the price that we can get for things. So we sell men's pants and ladies' dresses and everything. So when we get the men's pants, we call the detectives because we thought we were doing them a favor. And we say, we got pants out here for sale at a reasonable price. So they come, you know, when they get off duty. They bring their wives, their kids, and this last time we had pants, we called the fire department because we thought, hey, they do good things for us, we're going to do something good for them. So we called them, and they came, and they came on their fire truck, you know. But there was always someone left on the fire truck to answer a call. But they came to look at pants, and if they bought them, they paid for them, and they left.
Were they like returning to the station from a call and stopped by here on their way back?
Yes, exactly. There's nothing wrong with it. There's no hanky-panky involved in any way. We happen to be 3 decent women.
Well, if you had, or I guess you've heard the report that a helicopter sat down in the field behind your house.
Yeah. Well, we also call those guys up at the helicopter place when we get pants. And they say, hey, when we go over your house, if you're outside, wave to us. And they wave to us, and we wave to them. But they've never landed in the field and come in our house. So whoever told that is nothing but a liar. And
in summary, how would you phrase what's happened here?
Well, it's an unfortunate incident, really. I don't feel sorry for Chief Fulghum because whatever's going to happen to him, he deserves. It's just unfortunate for us. I feel more sorry for us than I do anyone because we happen to be 3 decent women, and these police and firemen that come here, they come for no hanky-panky. They come to buy things, just like a store.
Theodore Wischkaemper took his charges to the Tarrant County grand jury this morning just before 11 o'clock. He told me he could not divulge the remarks made by the grand jury, but he did outline the charges that he lodged.
A violation of 1408 of the Texas Election Code.
What are you asking the grand jury to do?
To investigate it.
What can the grand jury do? Do they have any authority to remove people from the ballot, though?
They have authority to indict them if the charges that I've made are legal and will stand up. And I have the allegations, the evidence in the file of the statement of candidates' campaign expenditures, and the law and the court cases to uphold the law. And there is nothing in these papers that I haven't already, that is not a public record that I have divulged to the grand jury, and that's, I guess, about all I can say.
Wischkaemper represents Bob Strickland, who was defeated by Andersen for County Commissioner Precinct 1. And Ivan Stein, who was defeated by Sheriff Lon Evans, both in the primary. Sheriff Evans told me the charges are false and that he invites any investigation. County Commissioner Andersen said his campaign funds were handled by 2 certified public accountants and that he has done nothing wrong. There is no word as yet if the grand jury will launch an investigation. Jim Green, Channel 8 News on the Move in Fort Worth.
Price told me at the news conference today that he's concerned about the lack of interest in Constitutional Amendment number 6. That's the one that would let cities and counties grant homestead exemptions like the state can now. Price says there hasn't been enough attention paid to exemptions for older people, and he's part of a committee to correct what he thinks is a grave oversight. Joined by 3 other committee members, Price says high property taxes are causing older citizens to sell their houses and move to more favorable conditions. He says Amendment 6 would let retired people live near friends, relatives, neighbors, and family doctors. But he says money lost through exemptions won't hurt the city's property tax base.
Cities will be receiving, each city in Texas will be receiving federal revenue sharing funds, and they could pass these funds along to the older persons by granting such homestead exemptions. However, we feel that the effect on local governments will be nominal, especially to cities.
The mayor proclaimed the day North Dallas High School Day, and the students celebrated by getting out of their 50-year-old school a bit early and paraded through their neighborhood. While it's not the oldest high school in town, it's the oldest one in the city that still has its original name. Principal that year, and every year until 1946, was E.B. Comstock. One former student who remembers him in those first years of North Dallas was a girl whose class motto in the 1924 annual was "Smile and Keep Hustling," Doris Comstock, the principal's daughter. She's now Mrs. Phillips, a French teacher at Thomas Jefferson. I asked her what it was like to have her father as a principal.
I practically don't know what it was not to go to a school where he was principal. I had him from the 5th grade till high school graduation.
What do you remember about coming to this brand new school called North Dallas?
That we were all very, very proud of it. And at the time, it was the elite school of Dallas. Everybody who was really interested in going on in the academic world came here. I can remember our first cheerleader. I can remember that we had nothing for a football team, of course, at the very beginning, but everybody went out and cheered and cheered and cheered at the games. We had really very interesting programs. It was always, in the beginning, a school where a large percent went on to college, so it was really a high academic school, pretty much.
Do you see much change in the school in the past 50 years?
In this school? No, not really. I'm sure that there's been great internal changes, but externally it's still North Dallas.
For Channel 8 News on the Move, this is Judi Hanna at North Dallas High School.
We've been looking for someone with a bat, and Rico was available, and when we were at the World Series, we started talking with the Atlanta club and indicated that we were interested in some players from their club because they have a good hitting ball club, and their problem has been with pitching. So we were willing to give a pitcher for Carty, and they accepted Panther, and we made the deal today, which is the first day of interleague trading. So we're very happy to have Rico with us.
Do you expect to make more trades in the near future?
We hope to. We hope to make any trade that we feel that could help our ball club, especially we would like to pick up someone else who can swing a bat, because our great deficiency this year was in scoring runs, and we like to get the type of hitter who's a proven hitter and one that could drive in those runs from, especially from third base or second base with less than 2 outs. That was one of our major problems this year, and we hope to correct it.
Well, don't you think the club is taking somewhat of a gamble with Carty because of his history of injuries and his reputation as a fighter?
There's no question about that. We know that he's had many injuries. In fact, 2 years ago he was out the entire season with a bad knee, and we are taking a gamble, but we feel that in our position that we would give up our lesser pitchers in order to take a gamble of this type. We know that Rico had some problems in Atlanta 3 and 4 years ago, but they weren't severe enough for the Atlanta club to release him or to trade him at that time, so we feel that we're in a position where we can give him an opportunity here to play, and we need him, and especially we need his bat. And if he can hit 300 for us, we hope to work out the other problems with him.
All denominations. That is right. I'm glad you brought that up.
How many people are you going to need to help you raise all of this?
Oh, we're going to need about 12 or 1,500 people.
You think you can get all of them?
Yes. I have no doubt about that, because the people are enthusiastic about the program.
Al Kovacs is a student male nurse. He's part of El Centro's paramedic program for training former armed services medics to become registered nurses. Kovacs, a Vietnam veteran, begins his practical nurses training at the Scottish Rite Children's Hospital each day at 6 a.m.
I first became interested in nursing while I was a hospital corpsman in the Navy. After my discharge, I heard about the MedVet project here at Centro College in Dallas. I decided to enter a 2-year associate degree program. I really wanted to get started into nursing as soon as possible, and Centro offered this program under 2 years. I do my lab or my practical clinical experience right now in pediatrics at Scottish Rite Hospital. Nursing for me is a very personal, individual thing. Being a man in nursing can be difficult at times. I get a lot of ribbing, especially from my friends questioning my virility. Centro has set up a post-conference session as an outlet for both our personal problems and patient problems. These sessions are really rap sessions. We vent our frustrations, but mostly it improves our skills as nurses and renews our self-confidence. One thing I've learned in a hospital about working with patients is that you must care about people. Caring is a big part of nursing. You have to care.
Operation during the month of September, but instead of losing it, what was our average annual rate of 6% after operations in the city of Dallas, since we've been keeping records from 1917. From the month of September operations, then we'll discuss further what happened to them. In accordance with accepted municipal finances.
Sites have been selected. For instance, approximately 6,000 area will be. And this is approximately, this is an artist's conception of what
The November elections are bringing an end to a certain brand of law and order here in Hill County. Voters are going to the polls to replace their lady sheriff, May Brooks, who's hanging up her guns to spend her retirement days with her grandchildren. May's been working in the Hill County Jail for 18 years, 17 of those while her husband, Ernie Brooks, was Hill County Sheriff. When Ernie passed away last December, County Fathers appointed May sheriff. And since that time, she's done a little bit of everything, including breaking up a cafe brawl.
It was just, just drinking was cause of it all. So I said, well, I'll tell you what we're going to do. And I stopped a little bit and thought. And I said, well, we're going to close this thing down. Well, it's down over to the right. I mean, it was a whole bunch of young folks over there. And I said, they were just a whispering and a whispering. And I said to them, I went over there and got right in the middle. And I said, everybody shut up their mouth. They can't talk out loud. Don't talk at all, because I'm not having no whispering. And they shut up. So then I went on the inside, and I told them to all get everything ready, because I was closing it down.
What did the owner say when you told him his bar was being closed down?
Well, he said, oh, please let's don't close down. I said, yeah, it's done closed. Get ready. Get out of here, because I'm not going to have it. We're not going to have this over here, no killing, and there's been too much killing going on over here anyway.
Are you going to miss being sheriff?
Yeah, I miss this now, because I've been here 18 years, and I'm going to miss it. Yeah, I really miss it.
Yes, sir. It looks like Hill County's next sheriff has some pretty big boots to fill. That's what I call law and order in Hill County. Arch Campbell, News 8 on the Move in Hillsborough.
Talk to you about what you filed with the grand jury this morning. I believe it's against the sheriff and the.
Are you going to read the statement? Well, whatever you like. We'll either read it or just comment on it.
Okay. Allie, do you want to...
This thing has been in the mail for many years, but I helped kind of put some push to it.
Now, you are for the amendment.
Right.
As the state now has for granting homestead.
That's right. That's exactly it. Okay.
And it's permissive legislation.
Right, it is permissive legislation.
Nobody would notice whether you smiled or not. No, him.
And he had told him to use the baby lotion instead of scratching, except around the bandage. And other than that, he's fine. Hello? Listen, I had Jennifer Martin. She's up and down, no problem. The circulation's good. Left foot. She's laid up there.
There's no way that I can expect your opinion. I'm sorry.
As far as the problem of the hospital and nurses and
Him up?
the nurse office. Yeah, I got a little class to a place, don't you think?
You need a bounce here?
What is it?
I would put his little talk on hold, so we can feature Al today. And you notice that's what I was doing?
The tongue just pushes it out without his knowledge, and therefore, with the getting the food out of the back of his tongue, he gets some down, you get the idea.
Okay, I have to go now. I'll see you later. Okay? Bye-bye.